All right, so in the rational unit, we will need to be able to do polynomial long division. So that's what we're going to review right now. So we'll do a couple of examples. Remember, just some review. The first part that comes before the division is the dividend. It's what you're dividing into. And then what you're dividing by is the divisor. You just might hear me say some of those words. And so when you do long division, you put the dividend on the inside of the division symbol, and you put the divisor on the outside. Okay. Now, when you do long division, you focus on one term at a time. So you want to make sure that the terms are in order of biggest exponent to smallest exponent for the dividend and the divisor. And then you divide the first term of your dividend by the first term of your divisor. Some people do that division in their head, and some people like to actually write it out. So you're dividing 2x cubed by 2x. Right? When you do that division, you get 2 divided by 2 is 1. X cubed divided by x, you just subtract the exponents. Right? So you get x squared. So when you divide these two terms, you put x squared up in the quotient or the answer. Okay, the answer is called the quotient. Whatever you write in the quotient, the next step is you multiply, but you have to multiply by every term of the divisor. So x squared times 2x and x squared times 5. You're multiplying by both terms, right? So x squared times 2x is 2x cubed. It should be the same as this term because in a minute we're going to subtract and they should cancel. Okay, if these multiplied together are not the same as that term, then you did something wrong. Right, and then you multiply again, x squared times 5, or x squared times 5 is 5x squared. Make sure you're always lining your exponents up with like terms. And then you subtract all of it. So you subtract 2x cubed minus 2x cubed, which goes away. 7x squared minus 5x squared, which is 2x squared. And then you can bring anything down that you haven't used yet. So I'm going to bring down the 13x and bring down the 20. All right, and then we're going to do it again. You start over. So 2x squared is my new first term. And we're still dividing by 2x, which the answer there is just 1x. And since it's positive, you're going to write plus. Whatever you write on the top, you multiply by both of those terms. So 2x squared plus 5x. And then you are always subtracting, and make sure you draw your parentheses because you want to make sure you're subtracting both of these terms. 2x squared minus 2x squared goes away. 13x minus 5x is 8x. And then bring your 20 down. And then we can go one more time with the division. So 8x divided by 2x is 4. 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times 5 is 20. So when you subtract, the terms cancel, and because they cancel, then we are left with no remainder. Okay. All right, we'll look at another one. All right, so here's another one that we'll look at. And so here's what the problem looked like. and I went ahead and wrote it in the division. So if you need a minute to write that down. And we are going to, like always, start with the first term of the dividend divided by the first term of the divisor. So 6x to the fourth divided by 2x squared is 3x squared. And then you want to make sure that you multiply 3x squared by every term in the divisor, which is 3 terms this time. So 3x squared times 2x squared gives me 6x to the fourth, which is good, it's supposed to. 3x squared times negative 3x is negative 9x cubed. And then 3x squared times negative 1 is negative 3x squared. All right, so this one has more negatives than the first problem we looked at. So this is where we want to be really sure that when we subtract, we realize that we are subtracting every term. So 6x to the fourth minus 6x to the fourth is nothing, it's gone. Negative 21x cubed minus a negative is the same thing as plus. So that's really like 21 plus 9. And so that gives you 12x cubed, sorry, negative 12x cubed. Same thing here, we've got 23x squared minus negative 3x squared. Right, so you get 23 minus negative 3 is really plus 3, so 26x squared. And then bring down the 2 terms that we did not use. And then you divide again. So this time we've got negative 12x cubed divided by positive 2x squared, which is negative 6x. Multiply, we get negative 12x cubed plus 18x squared plus 6x. And then remember, we are subtracting all of that. So the x cubes cancel. 26 minus 18 is 8x squared. Negative 1 minus 6 is negative 7x. And then bring down that minus 14 that you didn't use. And we divide again. 8x squared divided by 2. X squared is 4. And then multiply. 8x squared. 4 times negative 3x is negative 12x. And 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Subtract. And we are left with positive 5x minus 10. Now, I know that we can't divide anymore because 5x is a smaller exponent than the x squared. So that means this whole thing is the remainder. And the way that you see your remainder written is a fraction. So you'll see plus, and then whatever your remainder is will be on the top. And whatever your divisor is, that's on the bottom. And I want to show you what those, because sometimes this is confusing the first time you see it, but this, if you look on the screen right now, this is what the directions will look like. If there is a remainder, express the result in the form Q of x. Q of x is just the quotient, so that's where our 3x squared was, plus r of x over b of x. So r of x is the remainder, and b of x is just going to be your divisor. So that's how we wrote our answer. That's how a lot of questions will ask you to write your answer. Okay, so we'll see some more examples And I think you're working on Delta Math, so you'll be able to see. So like here's our problem that we just did with, this is the answer we got and everything. If you get stuck on a Delta Math one, then you should be able to, if you get it wrong, look at the explanation. It's a pretty good explanation and it'll show it all worked out for you.